This is Going Under, Anesthesia Answered with Dr. Brian Schmutzler. I'm your host, Vahid Sadrzadeh, and today we've got a special one, and I'm really excited about it. I know coming off our last podcast, we were talking about this topic that is going to seem not to go away here over the next at least year or so, and that is basically contracts and non-compete clauses, which have been a huge win, I guess you would say, for employees.
True.
Here over the last couple of days and weeks, and we'll continue to monitor it. But today we've got a special one. As you've noticed, we're in studio again after
finally
being on the road, Atlanta, Baltimore. If you want to go see any of those videos, they're online at www.drbrianschmutzler.com.
Yep.
And on his social media channels at Dr. Brian Schmutzler. But today we're talking about travel, the pluses, the minuses, what you do when you travel, and maybe some best practices, I guess, because I think what we've learned is there's a lot of up-and-coming medical professionals that maybe want to get into what you're getting into, but how do you do it? What's involved? How much are you on the road? And, do you like being on the road? I mean, and maybe some of your best practices, because we've got B-roll from New York. That you can kind of see what he carries with him on a day-to-day. We also got the video from Baltimore from last week where you could see kind of what he does and how quickly he does it.
Right.
And it may seem like somebody commented on one of the videos from the Baltimore video and said, quick trip. Well, yeah, it is a quick trip.
I want to see my family,
I think your family wants to see you.
Exactly.
So let's just talk a little bit about, maybe why you travel. And how often you do so.
Sure, yeah. So, everybody knows that listens to this podcast anyway. I'm an anesthesiologist, so, a lot of times I'm in the operating room, but about half the year in administrative for CCI anesthesia. And so I travel a decent amount for them. It goes in waves. I would say on average, probably 4 or 5 days a month. And what am I traveling and doing? I'm going and seeing our sites, talking to the providers, just getting on site. It makes the company feel more real, more connected when one of us goes and evaluates things and hangs out with the staff and the hospital administration, that sort of stuff. So that's probably the majority of my travel. So, for instance, in April, I went to Carson City, Nevada twice. I was in Texas.
It's not Rome,
Texas.
Italy.
Yeah, it was not Rome, Italy. Yes, that's true. Indianapolis, kind of traveled around the Midwest, and then when we went to Baltimore, I was there teaching blocks for a medical device company. And so, travel's fine. I traveled a lot before COVID, mostly doing consulting, and it was busy then, but travel seemed a little smoother before COVID.
Okay. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so, less canceled flights, less kind of goofy policies on stuff, not even masks, just weird policies about the size of bags and all that kind of stuff. And then, through COVID, a lot of people, because of COVID, got, upgraded status. So used to be able to go into Delta Lounge. I use Delta. I used to go into a Delta Lounge and it'd be empty, essentially. You get upgraded all the time because those of us who traveled a lot had the status. Now everybody's got the status, so it doesn't...
Or the card.
Or the card, right. So it doesn't help you as much as it did. For the first, 2021 and half of 2022, travel was great because nobody was traveling still, right? So if I was traveling, it felt like nobody was traveling. For the past year and a half, it's been a little bit more strenuous. There's a lot of... I've had a lot of lost bags, which is tip number one. Try not to check anything if you can. We were talking about that as we were walking around Baltimore. And then, canceled flights and delayed flights and kind of stuff like that. So, it was easier before COVID. We've adjusted now. So, those are the main things I travel for, maybe 4 to 5 days a month. Do I like to travel? I like travel. I like seeing places. I like going and doing, administrative work. I don't particularly like being away from my family. I like being home with them. So, there's some positives and negatives to it, but I like what I do, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah. So, this past weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
You were doing some blocks and kind of run through, how that schedule looks. I mean, you're pretty in and out depending on what that schedule is.
Yeah.
So kind of run through that.
Yeah, so I typically try to take an afternoon or evening flight out of South Bend, which is a great airport to fly out of, to whatever site I'm going to teach. So I usually get in somewhere between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. on that Friday night. Saturday morning, we start teaching about 7, finish around noon, 1 o'clock, and then fly right back. I mean, I'm typically gone for less than 24 hours, so really in and out. Try to be as efficient as possible. Still get the workout in, though. Check out the pictures.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Vahid night at 4 a.m. I texted you.
The night before, he's like, I'm working out at 4. You working out at 4? I'm like, well, there's no choice.
Exactly.
Yes, I've got to get video of you working out at 4.
Exactly.
So, yes, I'm going to be there at 4. And I was up at like 3:57. Yeah. And lo and behold, I mean, he's taking a picture of himself down by the workout facility. Hey, I'm here at 4 o'clock.
Where you at? Where are you at?
I mean, that's a lot of self-motivation to be and discipline to be there at 4 o'clock on a weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the, I guess, travel tips. I guess we'll probably go into some of the travel tips. But, I mean, I always take my workout stuff and I always work out. I mean, unless I just physically can't get out of bed. I get in at 2 in the morning like I did in Reno and I had to get up at 5. I'm not going to work out then. But, I mean, working out's big. Try not to check anything. I do the best that I can not to check anything. If it's over 2 full days, I usually do have to check something just because I check a bag just because I don't got enough stuff that I have to check it. I bring my sleep mask out. It's all the way over there. Check out the video on the sleep mask.
Yeah, we have a video on a sleep mask now.
Whoop sleep mask. So for me, no matter what time of day, night, how long I slept the night before, I put my sleep mask on and I sleep basically the entire flight. Sometimes, longer flights, 3-4 hours. I'll watch a movie and then sleep the other 2 hours. But almost always I'm throwing that sleep mask on and sleeping during the flight.
Another tip?
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, personally, I like to stick with a certain brand because you build up status and you get all kinds of rewards for it. So, I think we both got upgraded, right? When we came back from Baltimore. So we both got upgraded, got first class, which is great. I do Marriott, so they, typically give me a high floor and an upgraded room and that sort of stuff. So I mean, although you got a much better room than me. Yeah, that wasn't cool. Yeah, so Vahid goes up to the desk and negotiates with the guy at the desk and gets this like beautiful corner room. Not that my room was bad; I had a view of the harbor, but Vahid's got this big corner room, like extra space.
For literally 6 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we slept less than 6 hours, of course. So I mean, I think that's a big tip that I have. Alicia makes fun of me for this, but I carry basically like my Toomey travel sort of crossbody, yeah. And so technically, if I have a carry-on suitcase, my backpack, which I always carry, and the crossbody. Technically, I have 3 carry-ons. So what I usually do is I bring a jacket and I throw the crossbody. You're laughing because you saw it, yeah.
Don't take Delta.
Right, yeah. I throw the crossbody underneath my jacket, so it just looks like I've got like a big, bulge in my jacket.
Here's the photo right here. You're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see the photo right here.
Fabulous. So that's something that I do. But yeah, I mean, I like to have my travel, my crossbody because it can carry everything in there instead of having to reach into my pockets. I don't lose anything in the seats. So that's helpful. I do carry on a blanket because some of those flights, especially from South Bend to Minneapolis and South Bend to Atlanta, freezing. The flights are so
the smaller
cold.
planes are colder.
CRJs, the CRJ 700 and 900, just freezing cold. So I carry that. What else do I pull out of my bag? I mean, you were with me. What do I carry?
I feel it's like the TikTok. Right. Yeah. I mean, you had a lot in your bag. I'm not gonna, I mean, I will say, so like the shoes take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
The workout things, right? Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna work out,
I got clothes. I got and you guys saw it in my New York video. I've got all, my Toomey workout bag that's got all my bands and all that stuff in it, so that takes up a bunch of space. Yeah, shoes because I've got to wear one pair for the nice dinner if I'm ready for dinner, and then another pair to do the lab. So,
that's right, because you're going to be on your feet, so you need.
Yeah, so I wear. I mean, I've got on clouds on. typically what I wear. And then, I wear my scrubs, Fabletics scrubs.
Yep, which are super comfy. You wore those all weekend.
Basically, yeah. Wore them in the lab, wore them on the plane. Yeah, great for travel too. So super comfortable. Trying to hydrate is a big thing. I know we're talking about travel tips, but people tend to not hydrate as well on their trips, and so that can cause GI issues. That can cause just you not to feel very well. So I always make sure I hydrate. Try to get as much water as possible. If they have it, Liquid Death. My favorite. Shout out. Just try to drink as much fluids as possible. We spent a decent amount of time in the lounges.
Right.
We should probably talk about the beautiful lounge in Baltimore, Maryland. Would you like to share your first impressions of they called it the exquisite.
Oh, you're talking, in Baltimore.
The exquisite lounge in Baltimore.
You'll notice if you go around the country enough, and I've traveled around the country and world enough, and I've been lucky to do so, to know the lounge situations in a lot of the airports. And some of the club ones they'll call like Club BWI or Club SFO or San Jose or whatever. Those are part of the priority pass lounges. So if you have an American Express Amex Silver card or Gold
Platinum
card or
whatever,
Platinum or Gold or whatever, you'll be able to register for these priority pass lounges. So essentially, if these smaller airports, or like Cancun has one, international ones have one, they're essentially a smaller version of like an American Express lounge.
Yeah, or a Delta Sky Lounge or United Lounge or whatever. So.
I mean, this is no knock on BWI, but that lounge...
It's a knock on BWI.
We're going to talk about that in a second. But that lounge was lacking a lot of amenities, meaning... I don't know why you would pay the $50
to get in that place.
Get in the lounge.
There was like some finger food snacks and
no meat.
Yeah, no meat. The coffee machine didn't work.
It was broken.
Yeah. So they
had a bar.
Yeah, with
small,
nothing really in it, and there were some comfortable chairs, I guess, and it was relatively quiet. But by far the worst lounge I've experienced. You?
Well, it was up there.
Yeah, okay.
It was up there.
We should probably at least tell them what's going to happen with the. We're gonna do the 5 best and 5 worst.
Let's just touch on them.
Okay, all right. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just saying if you want to hear my opinion on the 5 best and 5 worst airports in the country,
we're gonna link them.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it. Well, there's a TikTok already that exists, but you'll see it. We'll link them in the description and whatnot. But basically, let's at least give us one of your top 5 and. What are you looking for
sure.
in airports? I mean, like, you're going to fly to Williston next month.
Yeah, that's true. You're coming with me, though, right?
I think so, for at least a couple days.
At least a couple days. Yeah. We're only going out for a couple days. So,
What do you look for? I mean, as you're going in and out of an airport?
Yeah. So I'll just give a little bit away. One of my favorite airports is the South Bend Airport, honestly. I mean, so for me, there's a kind of a short list of things that I care about. So South Bend is great because...
And it doesn't have a lounge, by the way.
It does not have a lounge, but it's great because it's quick to get in and out of.
Usually.
Almost always. Okay. I mean, football games, right? That's the only time
Sundays and a football game.
Yeah, fine. And I'm not flying those days. So easy to get in and out of. I show up pretty close to when my flight takes off, especially if I'm not checking anything. I know a lot of the people there. Some of them are nurses, some of them, just people in the community. So I like that. It's pretty quiet.
It is. When
it's open, the food is decent and it's clean. Everybody's nice and it's clean. I mean, it meets the bare minimum standards, but they do a good job with it.
Yeah.
So
I always felt like Sioux Falls Airport was the same way.
Never been there.
Quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going in and out in no time.
Good.
I don't know. Do you look at the time it takes you to get from the gate to any transportation that you're taking?
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that on one of the worst. There are a couple of airports where you literally have to walk a mile to get to the tram to get to your gate. I mean, I don't. It's terrible. I only flew through that airport a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Runway length is important too, because I get a little bit motion sickness. Yeah, and so when we have a short runway and we have to take off like this, not so good for me. The amenities. So when you're looking at the bigger airports, really the amenities they have, like, for me, do they have a spa? Like if I've got a long layover, I'll go get a quick massage while I'm there. Decent restaurants to get into, and then nice big sky lounges, good food and stuff. So those are things I look at. Just little things when I travel, because it's pretty. If you travel twice a year, you don't really care that much about that stuff.
Right.
But when you travel all the time, it's like, trying to sit in those seats and trying to find something to eat, and it's just nice to have a little bit of comfort.
I will say this. I mean, I traveled all the time for work.
You did, yeah.
And it was to one location.
Yeah.
Which you get used to, right? I mean, like you have your different paths, right? You kind of know like where you're going, where you're going to land, what transportation you're going to take, down to a T. What I haven't figured out, Brian, and I think this is as a photographer and video person, may differ from you as a doctor. What is that perfect bag to take on a trip?
Man, we were just talking about this.
It is a struggle,
it's
man.
It's a struggle. So you want something big enough that you can fit everything in, but they've got these little regional jets, because we live in a small town, and a lot of our contracts,
like a secondary city, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And a lot of our contracts, you have to fly into a secondary city. So then they either force you to check it, or you have to gate check it. So, okay, fine. So you get a smaller bag. We talked about this. Well, if you get a smaller bag, then you can't fit as much in it. So then I might not be able to take everything I need to work out. So,
but you don't want to check everything,
no,
right?
I don't want to check it, especially if it's a Baltimore. It's less than 24 hours. Why would I check something? So you and I talked a little bit about, like, our idea is basically a bag that you could, and this is so, I don't know why we're talking about this, but whatever, it's fun. So a bag that you could basically change the shape of the bag depending on what flight you're on. Because the CRJs are little, but...
Yeah, the CRJ 200s. Have you ever gone from South Bend to Chicago?
Yeah. Well, and to Detroit, too.
Yeah.
The tiny, right? So those you'd want to be flatter and longer. They're long enough. They're just,
sure.
You'd have to have it flatter. A 737, normal shape bag. And then there was one we were talking about that we said that it should be like super long. Which one was that?
I think it was the CRJ.
Was it CRJ?
Yeah, the CRJ 900 or 200. I mean, those, I'm very surprised, because here's the thing that throws me off. Again, we're talking about travel, anesthesia, whether you're a doctor or photographer, whatever.
Yeah.
You're always looking for that perfect bag that you can carry on any plane for that 2 to 3 day trip. We're not talking longer trips, because longer trips you're gonna check a bag.
Check a bag, and it doesn't matter. Yeah.
But those shorter trips, if you want to bring workout clothes, if you want to bring a camera, if you want to bring whatever you're gonna bring that you need for. Okay, so let's say you have a briefcase.
Right.
Okay, so you have a briefcase with your
backpack. I do
or
a backpack
with your laptop and some of the other things that you can fit in there that you want on the plane. And then there's some other things that you're like, well, am I able to fit this in the bag? But am I able to fit it under the seat?
Right.
I'm going to give you a very, very surprising, maybe
tidbit
to throw you off.
Okay.
So the Delta first class that we got upgraded to,
small.
The under the seat storage,
small,
is terrible.
Yeah. Well,
it's terrible. I'm flying in a CRJ 200 from Chicago to South Bend.
Huge.
I've got a duffel bag, and I was able to fit it under my seat.
Yep.
I don't understand. Airlines, if you're listening, why do you do this?
No kidding, yeah.
I don't understand. Like, you're sitting in first class. You can't put anything under your seat.
Yep.
And then somebody gets mad if you put 2 items up above the thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Heather and I got yelled at by, an older couple. Not yelled at, but we got scolded under their breath.
Because you're taking all the space.
And I'm like, first of all, is this space reserved? Like, for...
They do say reserved for first class.
Anyway, I'm going on a diatribe, but I regress. No matter if you're a doctor or photographer, whatever, you're still looking for that perfect shaped bag where you can fit stuff in. You don't need to check it, and it fits comfortably wherever you want to fit it.
I wonder. So we went into Toomey at Atlanta, right?
Yes,
we went into Toomey in Atlanta, and I wonder if those kind of
there was definitely no Toomey at BWI.
No Toomey at BWI. There was a green turtle though. We ate at the green turtle.
Nobody got sick.
Nobody got, well, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
We didn't
get sick, right.
Yeah. The food was actually pretty good. Waitress was decent. It's fine.
So the Toomey has a long bag, you were saying.
They have a long bag. They also have that like totally square bag. I wonder if one of those two, I mean, I'm tempted to just get one and see if it works.
I think you need a round bag, though.
Why would you need a round bag? To get it underneath the seat?
I think round bags are better because. So I told you I got that one from Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna link it if anybody wants to try it.
For sure, link it.
Well, it'll come from his link, so you can get.
Yeah. I got to add it to my Amazon Marketplace.
Yeah, he has an Amazon Marketplace, but essentially it's a
hanger bag.
It's a hanger bag, but it folds out. So you put the folded hanger or whatever. You put the hanger in. And then it's like a seamless bag,
right?
But it has zippers all around, so it folds like a duffel bag, but it unfolds so you can hang stuff on the inside. But it's got no rigidity to it.
There's no, So if you shove it up, it's just gonna bend and
it'll fit,
right?
But like you can't open it without take something out because
Well, where do you put your toiletries then?
You put your toiletries on it. It's kind of like a.
But I mean, then
I would compare it to like a trapezoidal kind of shape.
But so you put. Let's say something, God forbid, spills.
Yeah,
it's all over everything.
Everything.
At least you can compartmentalize.
Doesn't have. It has like maybe a right and left compartment.
It's not good either.
I'm telling you, the bag business is.
Hey, Toomey, make us something, please.
So all this to say. You have a list coming out of top 5 airports.
And top 5 best, top 5 worst.
Top 5 worst airports. You also have, again, some tips that we mentioned earlier for people who want to look for travel. What about just the general idea for medical professionals who want to travel for a living?
Yeah, and we've talked about this in a few other podcasts. Locums or doing PRN or as-needed work seems to be fairly popular right now, especially in anesthesia. So, I think a lot of people, and even, we know, we have a mutual acquaintance who's an infectious disease doc in town who travels a bunch doing PRN work. She's on the plane.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I don't know what the solution is there. I would assume if you're going for a week at a time, you're probably taking a big suitcase. I carry a Toomey suitcase. It's great. I love my Toomey suitcase. So, I mean, I would say kind of do that and then, get as much as you can in your either backpack or carry-on or whatever. I don't travel a ton to actually go work, at least not on planes. So it's interesting to me. Usually when I travel to work, it's locally and I drive and I take my video laryngoscope. We talked a little bit about the video laryngoscope. So I'll take that with me. I take my shoes with me, my OR shoes with me. I take a cap. There's all kinds of things I take with me.
By the way, here's a question, and it could be a shout out for them. But do you take a Butterfly IQ3 with you? No, I'm serious. Do you take that with you?
Yeah.
Or does it depend on the hospital if they have it or what?
So if I'm gonna go do cataracts, I did cataracts a couple weeks ago. I'm not taking my Butterfly IQ with me because I don't need it.
Got it.
I don't need it. Well, I mean, I guess I could take it for IVs, but no. If I'm going somewhere where I have to do blocks, I don't know. Some of these sites are rural. I don't know if they're gonna have an ultrasound at all. So I definitely take the IQ with me, and I should have brought it. We'll do a video on that. I've got a hard case for it, so it fits in the hard case. All the supplies that I need are in there. So the Butterfly IQ, for those of you who don't know, Butterfly IQ is a portable handheld ultrasound that connects to an iPad. Gives you great image quality that pretty much rivals the big stand-based ultrasounds. So I've got 2 of those now. I've got the original version, and now I've got the IQ3, which is the new version. So definitely take that with me when I'm going to a site where I think I'm going to need to use ultrasound. Awesome.
Well, it's always great to see what other people are doing when they travel.
Yeah.
If you're traveling for work, especially too, because, these airplanes are packed with people who travel Monday through Friday, right? And so it's good to kind of get travel hacks from other people. I think they want that type of information.
What about travel for fun? We're going to Mexico in June. Travel for fun. I mean,
but it's never fun because you're always working.
Me? What are you talking about? Just because I'm on the phone? Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's true. No, I mean,
I don't
for
work
fun,
on the plane very much.
So here was a rule I always had when I traveled for fun.
Yeah.
To keep the rules I had when I traveled for work.
Okay.
And that was never, never, check a bag. I have changed my tune on that, and I don't know why.
You guys are checking a bag when we go to Mexico.
No. Yeah. I've said I've changed my tune on checking bags for fun.
How many bags did you bring when we went to Baltimore?
One, and it was on my bag. I brought a backpack, and it was a travel backpack. Man. I have become a freak show when it comes to bags. And I've spent a lot of money on bags just to find the perfect one. But I'm able to travel light.
Yeah.
I kind of figured out a method.
Yeah, I can't do it.
And sometimes it works negatively, and sometimes it works positively. This time it happened to work positively.
Very positively.
But there has been plenty of time when I've traveled to New York City, for example. I used to travel to New York City a ton. But I used to stay by Neiman Marcus Outlet or whatever that is called, the rack.
You just have to walk over there and buy it.
I literally walked the one block to buy something.
Like a belt, a pair of socks.
Then I'm screwed, basically, because I have more than I came with, and I have to, shove it into my bag. Exactly. So when I always go on vacation, and this has a little bit to do with my wife and my son.
No.
I know, shocking. Shout out, Heather. But... essentially, we're always going to buy something when we're on vacation.
Right, of course.
And so we have to pack.
I take a whole extra suitcase for that.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. So, there you go. Yeah. So I never carry any of my rules that I set forth when I travel for work.
Yeah.
It's usually work is I never check a bag.
Yeah.
I want to be in and out of those airports, and I want to make it not heavy enough where I'm, and I don't want to have to check a bag.
Yeah, I get it. So what do you do for packs for your son? What do you do for your son on the flights? So what we do usually on the longer flights, we tend to go out of Detroit to Cancun, but the longer flights we have earphones for the kids, and they listen and watch the TV or whatever, and then they bring their iPads.
Yep.
What does your son do?
Yep, he has.
Same?
He likes he loves the entertainment on a plane usually.
Okay, all right. And he likes to follow the planes too, right?
Yes, if there's no entertainment, well, then he complains. Then I'm like, you could literally walk where we're going, so you don't have to be on this plane.
Like the CRJs that don't have a
exactly.
TV screen.
And I think he's lucky enough to do that. So, but he likes to carry his Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah.
He likes to carry some books, he carries some workbook type stuff. So he's kind of keeping his mind busy.
Yeah.
But we traveled internationally. Where did we just go? Japan.
Yeah.
And we've traveled internationally a couple times in the last 6 months. And this kid doesn't sleep on a plane because he is so locked in to watching a movie and he's got to try the meal and he's got to so it's he slept a couple hours, but man, I've seen
he needs a Whoop mask.
He does. It catches up with him while we're internationally.
I bet.
On the shorter flights, he does well though. But he usually does it. We bought him a check bag for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And so he'll check a bag now, and we can put some extra stuff in his bag.
Ah, yes.
Well, he has the backpack on the plane, so.
What were you were jealous of something I had on the plane last time, and then we can wrap this up. I know at this point we're kind of rambling, but the AirFly thing, you were jealous of that thing, weren't you? You saw when I had that, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't have an iPhone.
It'll still connect.
To
your Bluetooth.
Yes, it will.
So this is a little thing that you can hook up.
I wish I took a video of this.
You should have. The specific. It's got the specific connector for the entertainment on the TVs on the flights, and so it connects then to your Bluetooth, and you don't have to have a cord sticking out. It's great.
It is awesome. Well, we're gonna do more travel videos.
Yeah.
Here's to say, people like travel videos, and I think we'll do a few more of them as we go along this, 2024, and obviously expand your business and do work for CCI and whatnot. So, a lot more travel videos to come on Brian's pages. Let's just end it with a couple questions here, real quick. As this comes from, obviously you can put your question in the comments below and on social media. Made X Glenn says, as a Canadian with free universal health care, may I ask you a question?
All right.
I know you don't give advice, but let's just see where this one goes.
We don't prep these questions, so I'm hearing these the first time. So
how much would that tour treatment cost? an American patient on average?
Tour treatment?
I think we're showing the video of like pre-op and like maybe like a block. How much would that cost?
I give you a free tour.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can come in and take a tour. I think what he means is having surgery.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the American healthcare system and insurance. We do a high population of Medicare patients, so most of them pay a fairly small amount. Medicare typically covers 80% of the total cost of the negotiated cost of the procedure. I don't know what that exact number is, but it's not thousands for sure. And then a lot of people also have a Medicare Supplement or Advantage plan. The cost is minimal, but the tour, you just want the tour. You come down anytime, I'll give you the tour for free.
Awesome. All right. So if you're listening out there in Canada,
that's right. Come on down.
Yeah, he'll give it to you.
I want to know where he is from Canada because I used to bear hunt in Canada. So
really,
yeah.
Where?
Wawa.
So what do you take on your bear hunting trips?
Oh man. Well, we drive, so I take whatever I want. But we can talk. Well, that can be a whole episode. I'll bring the wall mount bear in. So
okay. Well, while we're at it here, we're gonna wrap the podcast up with this. But give me 1 second here. I'm going to reach for this. I'm going to throw it to you because a lot of people have been asking about this from the last video.
Okay.
All right. So what the masked man on the plane, what are you wearing on the plane?
So it's the Whoop eye mask. So they just came out with it. I'm a Whoop member. Those of you who have kind of followed me for a while, I wear the Whoop wristband. It does heart rate variation, sleep, all that sort of stuff. So, we can answer some questions about that at some point. But yeah, it's the
hold that up so we can see it on the camera.
Yeah. So the Whoop eye mask.
Does that go with your armband?
I guess.
No, does it communicate with it?
No. It's just a mask.
Separate.
There's nothing electronic about it. But perfect for the plane because as you can see, it's got the nice padding in here, which I've tried a bunch of different masks, and if it doesn't have some padding on the bottom, number one, it slips down, and number two, it starts to hurt your face, or my face anyway. And so I also like the way it straps in the back. I'm not going to be able to do it with these earphones on, but...
We can hear that, by the way.
Can you? Oh, wonderful. All right.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Maybe rain in here.
Oh, it's raining. Yeah. That's not the mask.
That's not the mask. So no, it's a great mask. It totally blacks out too, which is great for sleeping on the plane in daytime. So yeah, Whoop mask.
For all you haters that think he doesn't get enough sleep.
That's right. I'm sleeping on the plane.
Yeah, he's sleeping comfortably with that Whoop.
I think you took some pictures of me just out. So
yeah, those are online too. So we get everything when we travel.
There we go.
This is a fun one.
Yeah.
All right. And don't go that far because we're going to take about a month. We'll have a special podcast with Dr. Adam Cian, who you've probably seen on Brian's page.
Yeah, good friend of mine. We work together, do some videos together. So
we'll do a podcast with him, very special edition in June.
Yep.
And then in July, we're going to start our new season here on Going Under, Anesthesia Answered, and we'll have a lot of collaboration videos and a lot of medical professionals and some people that are important to Brian's life on the podcast and kind of explain what they do day to day. So we're going to stay in the medical realm, but we might veer off too.
Yeah.
And touch some of Brian's upbringing and kind of the people surrounding his life and kind of their theories on success.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So this has been another edition. We can't wait for that, Brian. Thanks so much. I might have to try that. That Whoop. Sweet. This has been Going Under, Anesthesia Answered with Dr. Brian Schmutzler. I'm Vahid Sadrzadeh. We'll check you in the next one.